Today we are going to continue with investigating Azure AI Foundry regarding guardrails and possibility of it. In some of our previous videos, we discussed Azure AI content safety, and we saw how to set content safety up and how to use them. Now we are going to go in a similar direction and see how to set up guardrails in Azure AI Foundry portal itself and how to attach these guardrails to a model. So let us go into the Azure AI Foundry, and the guardrails are in the Protect and Govern section on the left. You can click them, get to guardrails and controls. Now, Azure AI Foundry is always expanding its services. So what you see right now may become obsolete in the future, or some of these services may go out and some of the new services may come in. For example, you see on the top that right now there are two services for block lists and for security recommendations during the preview, and they will soon become generally available. But also we saw that some services do get removed from time to time. But nevertheless, we're going to start with block lists today. So what are block lists? And block lists are lists of terms that, when detected in the input prompt, cause this prompt to not be sent to the LLM. So, for example, you don't want the users to inquire about a particular website, or you don't want the users to put a credit card number, or you don't want the users to send emails through the prompts, some personally identified information. So you can make the block lists. And there are two types of elements in the block lists, and there are elements that can be made according to a pattern, and elements that can be just literals. And I here have examples that I made just a little bit before today. So there are block list of credit card numbers. And credit card numbers, if I click on them, credit card number is a regular expression. And the regular expression has a certain format. It's a character between A to Z with two characters between A to Z, and then some characters, two characters between A to Z with numbers. And now, this is an example regular expression for a credit card. So whoever types in the credit card that is according to this regular expression in its prompt, this prompt will be rejected. Sorry. Then we have, for example, a list of forbidden sites. So these are the sites that European Union usually forbids, or thinks that they are not appropriate to be accessed. Torrent sites, Pirate Bay, and similar. So this is a list of sites, and you see in here their type is exact match. So whenever we see one of these as exact match in the prompt, the prompt will be declined. Actually, I'm going to copy this one. We're going to test a little bit later. So this is a block list easily. You can just create a block list and then type values, import values, very easy to do. Then where do you use this block list? Well, as I said, their purpose is to block the prompts from going to LLMs. So in Azure AI Foundry, to block the prompts going to the LLMs, we have content filters. And I will now click on create one. You first set up a name, and I will say, okay, this is content filter for largest model. So These names must be just numbers and ciphers, so nothing, no spaces, nothing extra. And then in here you can see some of these categories that are inherited from Azure Content Safety functionality. And indeed, this guardrails use Azure Content Safety for its functioning. So you see here the harm categories: violence, hate, sexual, self-harm. So you can set the threshold level. For example, right now it's set to medium, but maybe you say, okay, I want to set to the lowest. Yeah? Or you can say, okay, I want to set it to the highest. And you see in here there is just 3 levels, and where actually there is low, there is 4, but yeah, whatever. So, and this applies, these filters apply for both text and images. Then there are some prompt shields. Yes, so you can have prompt shields for jailbreak attacks or prompt shields for indirect attacks, or attacks that are coming through through application calling the LLM and not through the user calling the LLM. And then there are block lists, so you can turn it on and say, okay, I want credit card numbers and forbidden sites to be a part of my content filter. So these credit card numbers, these forbidden sites will block these prompts from going further. Click next. Okay, so see, actually, see, the first filter was the input filter. And so that's what coming into LM, and the other one is output filter. So you can put filter also from the content that is coming out of the LM, and it is very similar. So we are going to put some block lists here. So we are not going to allow our LM to bring back credit numbers and forbidden sites. Or maybe, let's say, in certain cases, you may want the LM to return back a credit number. For example, you have a LM, an agent that want to get some information about the client. The client calls you, you want to get some information. So you don't want to send credit card numbers there, but maybe you want to say, okay, now give me back credit card numbers. Or the credit card numbers may be actually not a good example, but something similar to that. Some customer information you want to be able to get from your LLM. Next, and you can say, okay, now where do you want to apply this filter? Yeah, and that is our deployed model. So in here we have a deployed GPT-4 mini model, and by default there is a Microsoft filter. So Microsoft content filter already works quite good. So there is already a guardrail, even if you don't put your specific guardrail. But now we are going to put this one. Say next, and then I'm going to say create filter. And this will now make a content filter that will now be applied to our GPT-4 on mini model. So let's actually test it. So we're going to go to models, points. We're going to open this model in the playground. Yeah. And we say, okay, can you tell me something about this site? Yeah. And well, our Azure AI Foundry gave us a good response. The prompt was filtered because there was a good filtering system, and this was in a forbidden sites of the block list. So these are some basics about how to set guardrails for your Azure AI Foundry models. If you want to know more, I can go into more details of this, but for now, this should be enough for you to set up some basic guardrails and to make sure that your content is safe and sound. Thank you.